My name is Jim Vaglica, and I have no freaking idea why I'm here.
Sergeant Jim Vaglica. I am very excited to have you on the show. So people might recognize you from some TV roles you've done, mostly reality shows, but it's not just because you're a reality guy. You have been in the field. You have done some pretty crazy stuff in your life. You are a retired police officer. Where do you reside, and where have you maybe where have maybe criminals seen you, in your area?
Okay, well, criminals have seen me. I would appear nightly in Waltham, Massachusetts, which is a city suburb right outside of Boston. And I spent 32 years on the streets of Waltham, uh, you know, catching the bad guys and doing all that cool cop stuff.
Yeah. So, Sergeant Jim, and do you want me to call you Sergeant Jim, Jimmy, Jim Bone? What do you want to go by?
If whatever, like generally Jim or Sarge, whatever you feel comfortable with.
All right, sounds good. I'll call you Jim.
All right.
So Jim, obviously, again, you've been involved in, I'm sure, many crazy situations there as a member of the police force. But again, people may recognize you from doing American Grit, which is a show that was hosted by John Cena, and Expedition Impossible as well, which is a former reality show. How did you get into kind of being in the reality world of TV?
All right. So back in the day, when Survivor was like the hot show, right? Mark Burnett created Survivor, and everyone was watching. I love a challenge, and I said this would be an awesome challenge. Let me give it a shot. Um, I sent in my audition tape, and they ghosted me, of course, like they do most people. But I did not realize casting directors move from show to show. So they will take their files and they will recall people that they liked from a previous show that didn't make it, um, and look them up. So I just got a call out of the blue one day. My cell phone rings, unknown number, and this guy just says, "Hey, my name is so and so, and I'm a casting director, and you don't know me, but I know you. I saw your audition tape, and I'm casting for a different show now. I think you'd be great for it." So that's how the whole thing started.
And that was for Expedition Impossible, correct?
Correct. That was back in 2009, I believe, or 2010.
Yep, I got it right here. It looks like 2009, I believe. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Says it aired in 2011. So
Yeah, we shot in 2000. We started in 2010, and then it aired in 2011.
that's amazing. So what did Expedition Impossible entail? What did you have to do on the show?
It was a adventure race. Okay, so every form of racing you can think of, almost every form. And again, it's Mark Burnett. He was the producer. It was his brainchild, and we met him during the interview process, and then he came with us out to the location. Um, I don't know if you know anything about reality TV, but it's all a big secret, even from the people involved.
Right.
Um, so they wouldn't tell us where we were going. They wouldn't tell us exactly what we were going to do. But I basically got the impression that it was going to be something like Survivor and Amazing Race. Okay, so it was going to be very physical. They told us it was going to be really physical, so you better get out there and train.
Hmm.
So the premise was teams of three, and the three people had something in common, right? So they wanted a Boston area team of cops. So I grabbed two of my coworkers, And we started in the process, the casting process, which is very long and drawn out. And back then it was a lot of like in-person stuff. Now it's all online, right? Zoom calls and whatnot. So they told us, all right, listen, you need to get, these certain things done before you head out to our location. And make sure you train hard. Like, this is going to be an endurance event every day. So make sure you guys are training and you're ready. And then 2 weeks prior to when we were supposed to leave, someone on the crew or whatever screwed up and posted the logo for the show, right? And on the logo it said Kingdom of Morocco. So I didn't know where Morocco was. I had to look it up, and as it turns out, it's northwest Africa, right? So I've never been. This is going to be crazy. So, at the time it was like winter in Boston. It was much like the winter we're having now, where we're getting buried with snow constantly. So, my team couldn't go out for runs or anything like that. So we found 3 sets of snowshoes, and we would meet up and we would do these snowshoe hikes through the woods to get us up on our cardio. But anyway, so we get to Morocco, and at first there's like a 3-day we spent 3 days at this resort where they were telling us like what to expect and what to do, what not to do. We were doing interviews, and we had some qualifications we had to do, and then they throw us out into the wilderness, man. We spent 18 straight days out in the wilderness, racing every single day, miles and miles. And I'm talking like, so we would start the day, they give us a list what we need to put in our packs. So we had these backpacks, big ones, right? So it was at least 40 pounds, sometimes 50 pounds in our backpacks that we had to carry. So it was a lot of running, but it was a lot of anything to do with water. There was swimming, there was kayaks, rowboats, rapids, sailboats, anything you can think of in the water. We actually had to build our own raft at one point. And then we rode camels, we rode Arabian stallions, we rappelled 300-foot cliffs. We went over one of the Atlas Mountains, which is constantly covered in snow. We actually camped at the top of this mountain, 10,000 feet. I had altitude sickness that whole night. Yeah, man, it was, as hard as it was such a magical time for me. I just loved every second of it. And I look back on that with some fond memories. So they would eliminate teams. So if you were the last team to make it to camp, you were eliminated immediately. And I think they wanted to eliminate us a few times, but we hung in there, man. We basically made it to the end. So
that's great.
Yeah, if you want to look up the show, you can find it somewhere. Expedition Impossible.
That sounds like the time of your life. I mean, I'm sure with what you've done in your career, like there's a lot of like really interesting things, training for the police and everything that you've done. I'm sure you've done some really crazy stuff, but I guarantee that some of the things you did in that show was probably like, I never thought I'd do this.
Nope. I never thought I'd ride a insane camel through the desert and rappel a 300-foot cliff. Actually, they threw me out of an airplane at one point. And everything was a surprise. Every single stage of the race was a surprise. You just show up and they'd say, all right, this is what you're doing. So yeah, at one point they were like, they kind of hinted that we were one of us was going to fall out of the sky, and I'm like, skydiving. I go, you gotta prepare for that. You can't just throw someone out of a plane, right? But then I remembered we're in Morocco; they can do whatever they want.
That's true.
So within 1 hour of telling us, I was getting thrown out of a plane. I had like a 50-minute free fall, which is unheard of. Like the first time they throw you out of a plane, you get like 10 seconds. I had 50-minute free fall. Seemed
That's
like ever.
So let me ask, I mean, was it more for you? Was it more of a thrill, like, holy cow, this is incredible? Or was there a lot of fear there too?
So, not to be a hard ass or anything, but nothing scares me.
Yeah.
So it was all a thrill. It was a thrill and a challenge is the way I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I'm terrified of sharks. That's the only fear I really have. So throw me in a pool of sharks and I'm terrified. But throw me out of a plane, I think I would have really loved that.
Yeah, man, it's a rush. It's crazy. What struck me was, first of all, the sound. Like, think about sticking your head out of a sunroof while you're traveling 120 miles an hour. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a freight train or something, right?
Wow.
And then my eyes were watering like faucets. Um, I was wearing these rinky-dink goggles, and they really weren't sealing my eyes. So that cold air. Oh, and it's freezing up there too. It's
Right.
freezing. When they open that door, you're like, holy crap. Especially, we came from the desert, so it was like 100 degrees down on the ground. And then suddenly it's like, I don't know, 30 degrees or something when they open the door to the plane. It was great, man. It was a rush.
Yeah. I mean, well, and you're probably feeling that temperature change as you're dropping too. I'm sure that was a rush in itself.
I didn't actually think about that.
Yeah.
Um, I had too many other things to think about.
Just land and don't die.
And so the challenge was to locate a symbol. While you were falling, you had to locate the symbol on the ground somewhere. And
Hmm,
turned out it was on the roof of a building. And so
interesting.
once I hit the ground, I had to tell them what the symbol was. And if I got it wrong, I don't know what would have happened, but I got it right.
They'd throw you out of an airplane from even higher.
Maybe.
All right. Well, Jim, that is incredible. So yes, if I'm sure you can stream it somewhere, folks. Expedition Impossible. I will be definitely checking that out because that sounds awesome. But let's get into our random topic. I'm sure we're going to hear some more awesome stories from Jim. And our topic is, how about that? You are a retired police force member, retirement fantasies. So let me ask you, Jim, kind of early in your retirement phase, I can tell because you look like a very young man. What's a goal of yours to do in retirement?
Oh man. I was hoping for something crazier than this. Um,
We'll have you back on. We'll do another one.
okay. Retirement fantasy. So when I retired, everyone was asking me if I wanted a big party, and I really wasn't interested in that. So, what I did was I booked a cruise, a really high-end Royal Caribbean cruise, through the Caribbean, um, and I brought my whole family. So my wife, um, my my son, my daughter, and her. Um, I guess he was her husband at the time. Maybe he wasn't, and they were just engaged. But anyway, that the five of us went on this Caribbean cruise. I paid for the cruise. I paid for the flights, and we had like the time of our life, man. So um, that's what comes to mind.
Any bucket list items for you? Like, what have you not done yet that you want to do?
Yeah, I checked a lot off my bucket list. What is left for me to do? I wrote a screenplay, um, seriously professional screenplay. Took me 2 years, and and one of my goals is to get that produced to a feature-length movie. What else? Damn, I've checked off so many things. Oh, I told you, I wanted a line. So I'm a half-ass actor with the SAG union, and I want a line in a movie or a series, like a legitimate production. And I have not been able to do that, even though I've been acting, quote unquote, for probably 10 years. I've been in a lot of movies and series, but you just see me in the background, like, maybe standing next to a star or something like that, if you really look closely. But I have not had a line. So that's another one of my bucket lists.
There you go. That's a good one to have. What kind of show would you want to be in? I mean, would you want to be in like a comedy, like an NYPD Blue or a CSI? Like, what do you kind of picture yourself in?
Well, I'm always cast as a cop or someone in law enforcement, CIA, Secret Service, FBI. Obviously I'm typecast, right?
Right.
The way I look. So yeah, I would love to do play a cop. It would kind of be easier that way because my acting skills aren't the best. But yeah, I'd do anything. Like a period piece, a Western would be awesome. That's not
Oh
going to
yeah.
happen. Probably, yeah, comedy would be great. I'm not so big on rom-coms, but if they want to give me a line, they want to give me a decent part, I would take that. I read for quite a few parts for The Walking Dead,
Oh,
which
nice.
yeah, I think it's called Dead City, Walking Dead, Dead City. It's
Mhm.
like a spin-off or something, and they shoot around here. So I've read for maybe like 6 different parts, and I don't know, I didn't think my acting was that bad, but they roasted me also.
You will get there. It will happen. Yeah, I mean, for me, I just look at you and I say, I see a Reginald Vell Johnson type, right? Because that guy, the for those who don't know, the dad from Family Matters, copping everything, right? And he's even said, like, I feel like I'm actually a cop because that's all I'm cast as. You have actually lived the part. So if he can do it, I mean, it's right down your alley. It's coming for you next.
I'm not giving up, man. Someone, maybe someone listening to this podcast will cast me in a show.
There you go. We'll get those casting directors out to you. So what else? I mean, so you mentioned, obviously you wrote a screenplay. I mean, that's pretty impressive. How long did that take you? And obviously I'm not going to ask you to give the whole thing away, but what's it centered around?
Well, believe it or not, it's a police story. And I got involved with a group called the Harvard Square Screenwriters. And we would meet once a week and talk about someone's project, somebody in the group. So, you know, one or two of those meetings involved my project, and then so everyone in the group would throw in their 2 cents. Hey, I think you should do this. I think you should maybe drop this thing out. Whatever. So that took me 2 full years. So there's an expression: writing is rewriting. Okay,
Yep.
so um, after 2 years of rewriting, I finally said, "All right, I'm done. This is the finished product. I'm not going to change it again unless somebody buys it, and then they own it and they can change whatever they want." But yeah, it's a cop story, and it's like a thriller. It's got action. It's got comedy. Um, yeah, man, I think it's great. Everybody who's read it says they think it's great. I had one professional writer tell me that if this was ever a movie, he would watch it many times over.
That's awesome.
So,
That's great to hear.
yeah, I mean, if you have you ever read a screenplay?
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. So my background is actually in writing and editing. So I've
Really?
had, yep, I got a degree in English back in while ago. And yeah, and so a lot of my background is in that. So anytime I have friends that are writing books or writing screenplays, they send them my way and I give them my notes.
All right, Jeff. Well, here's the question, man. You gonna read it?
I'll read it. You want to send it my way? I am all about it. That sounds
I
awesome.
will definitely send it your way.
All right.
That wasn't my intro to writing. So I used to write for um, at the time was the world's largest fitness website, and they still might be. It's bodybuilding.com.
Yeah, I think it is.
I was a professional writer for them. I still have about 20 articles up on their website. And then I wrote for Labrada.com. I don't know if you know Lee Labrada. He was a top bodybuilder in the era of Arnold. But
Yep.
yeah, I used to get paid to write articles for them.
That's so. I mean, have you always had an interest in writing? Is that something you're going to continue to
No,
pursue? Is no?
no, man. I hated English when I was a kid. When I was in school, even in college, I went to um, like 3 different colleges, and I hated writing and English courses then also. I don't know what happened to me. I just one day all of a sudden I said, you know what? I think I can write things. I think I can write a fitness article because um, I'm also a strength and conditioning specialist.
Right.
So yeah, I've had a diverse life, and so I had an intense interest in fitness, and at just one point I said, you know what, I think I can write an article. So I wrote an article and I sent it to bodybuilding.com, and they said, yeah, we like this. We're gonna assign you an editor, and we're gonna work with you. So that was the start of that.
That's pretty cool. I mean, right there, that's a dream for a lot of people that, maybe not a retirement goal, but a goal in life to get something published. And I've been in that space as well. I remember my first article I ever wrote for a news website out here in St. Louis, and I actually still have it framed over here. I printed it
Nice.
out and framed it. And for me, it's that was like a big milestone for me. So maybe you didn't grow up wanting to be a writer, but the fact that you achieved that's something a lot of people try to strive for.
Yeah, yeah. Congratulations, man. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it is. So how about when you were younger, talking about, when you maybe decided you wanted to go into the police force, you wanted to, you know, make the world a better place by being a police officer. What were you kind of like looking to do? Like what was something you're like, it'd be really cool if I could do this as a police officer?
As a police officer.
Mhm.
Um, all right, so yeah, I'm a goal setter. Okay, so once I got on the job, that was a huge goal of mine, right? So once I got on the job, then I wanted to be promoted at
Mhm.
some point, and I also wanted to get on a SWAT team. So my department did not have a SWAT team.
Mm.
Um, So you need to realize that only the largest departments in the country have their own SWAT teams.
Right.
Okay. So in Massachusetts, someone came up with the great idea to pool resources. So a bunch of departments get together and they have this cooperation agreement, and they form a SWAT team. Um, and they draw on personnel from all the departments that are involved. And so that way, when any one of those communities needs a SWAT team, that's the team that gets called in. So that's where I come from. It was about 10 years. I was on the job when this specific regional team um, reached out to my city, and we were able to join. So as soon as we joined up and they said, okay, we're looking for guys who want to be on SWAT, I threw my hat in the ring immediately. And yeah, I started training and getting ready for the tryout because I had heard the tryout was like really tough, and like most guys can't even pass. So I'm just so thick-headed that I refuse to fail at that tryout, and I made it my first time.
Wow, first time. I mean, that's probably something a lot of guys have to do multiple times to make it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen guys fail 3 times.
Wow. That's crazy. Man, you made it your first time. They probably hated you.
I hope they didn't.
Like, look at this guy. Look at this rook coming in. I mean, good lord, that's impressive. What did the SWAT team trying to make the squad? What did it entail? Like, what was some of the things you had to do to reach that high level of your profession?
So at the time, the tryout was at an army base um, out in Western Mass, and they had an obstacle course set up there, and then they have uh, outdoor ranges. So that's all the team needed to put us through the tryout. Um, so let me see. We started off the day with a team run. That was just a warm up. I think it was a 3 mile team run, and then it was time for calisthenics. So it was like 2 minutes of 4 different calisthenics, and you just keep going until you can't do another one, right? You can't give up. You can't say, all right, I'm going to do 50 and then I'm done. You just keep going until the 2 minutes is up. And at that point, you're pretty worn out. But now it's time for the timed run, which is a 1.5 mile run, and you have to do it in a certain amount of time. I think I had to do it in about 12 minutes.
Oh,
So, and it's in boots, and and so it wouldn't be that difficult except for what we've done already. Okay. So that's where we lose most of the candidates on the run. They can't do it because their legs are like lead. Their legs feel like lead after all those calisthenics.
yep.
So if you make it through the run, then it's time for the obstacle course. And if you make it through that, then it is what is it? It's a long arm stress shooting course, and then it's a sidearm, handgun stress shooting course. And if you make it through everything, then you can move on to the team oral board, where the whole team, but you sit in the hot seat. They do it on a different day. Okay, so they give you a break. You
That's
don't have to
good.
do it after like 8 hours of that tryout, but maybe the next month you sit down in the hot seat, and everyone on the team just fires questions at you and tries to make you break and see if you got what it takes, right? And then they
Yeah.
vote. Then the team votes if they like you or not, if they want you on the team or not. You
Wow.
know,
So it's as much a mental challenge as it is physical because yeah, when they're firing questions at you, I'm sure your body's sore, you feel broken, and you're just like, I gotta stay with it. If I'm gonna pass this, I gotta make sure I'm liked and can be trusted.
exactly. Yep, that's it.
Wow.
And they're asking questions that really have no great answer. Um, but yeah, the guys on the team, there's a bond. It's like the military. There's a bond when you go through everything that we go through as a team. Um, they become some of the closest friends you'll ever have.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That's really impressive and really cool. So do you still talk to any of your old SWAT team members? You guys still have that brotherhood?
Yeah, actually, I saw a bunch of the guys like 2 weeks ago, there was a retirement party for one of the team members, and just about everyone showed up, man. It was great to see everybody again, and see what they're up to. Um, I'm retired, and so most of my peers on the team are also retired. And then what most of us do is we go on to private companies, and we're doing executive protection work.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, some of the guys like traveling. They'll go away for like a month or two at a time. Traveling with a dignitary or a rock band or actors or billionaires. Um, yeah, I haven't done that. I really like. I live with my family here. I got my two granddaughters right next door to me, so I think I would miss them if I was gone for more than a month. But yeah, they're digging it, and that sounds like a pretty good adventure to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's really cool. And so yeah, so now you mentioned you're trying to get on some more speaking roles, possibly in acting, as well as obviously I think if things were to come your way with more reality stuff, it seems like you'd be open to that. Um, just sounds like for you, it's I'll do whatever I can to kind of live life and experience things. Is that a pretty good mantra for you?
That is me, man. That's me. You know, I told you I'm a goal setter, and I love a challenge. I'm always looking for my next challenge. I actually have, I got a challenge next month. I'm doing it's called Fight for Air, and it's sponsored by the American Lung Association. So I'm going to a high-rise building here in Boston, and you race up 40 flights of stairs as fast as possible.
I've done
I'm looking
something like
forward to
that.
that at the end of next month. I've never done it, and I'm training for it. I'm stepping up my cardio and my squats and my sled pulls, and I'm hoping to crack the top 10 like overall.
That'd be great. Yeah, we have one out here in St. Louis called Master the Met, and it's the Metropolitan Building downtown. I think it's 50 or 60 floors, and yeah, you gotta run up the stairs as fast as possible. And I did it in I think it was just under 10 minutes, and that was my goal, like 9:56 or something. So
Really?
there you go. You got a time you got to beat now.
Yeah, yeah. So by the top, were you just like taking it just like one step at a time? Were you completely dead or what?
I was still trying. So I started by just running up each stair, because you can, like a lot of people, they have different methods. They skip stairs, they'll run up one set of stairs, walk up the next. And so for me, I was like, I'm just going to start running and I'll run as long as I can. And then I'll try just skipping stairs. So I ran for about the good first half and I just got so exhausted that I was like, okay, I'm going to walk. I walk like the next two flights and then I just walked skipping stairs the next of the time. So it it uh it's kind of like what you said. It's kind of like a mental hurdle as well. Like, what can my body handle right now? What can I do to just get to the top without stopping? And it's tough. And the 10 minutes, it feels like it's about 2 hours. Like it's crazy how slow time goes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Those are always fun. Jim, this has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed getting to know you and learning about kind of your goal-oriented mindset. That's how I am. I set daily goals myself, and sometimes that daily goal is load the dishwasher, but like to me, it's like that is so important to keep a goal mindset and being able to, give yourself something to do every day and something to make sure you're getting something accomplished. So, I'm sure for you, it's very similar.
Exactly. I want to accomplish something every day. I want to try and better myself in some way every day, whether it's my mind or my body. Um, and just, never give up on, when you give up on life, I think you just might as well die at that point. You gotta set goals. I set short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, and I try and challenge myself as often as possible, and I try and impart that to people I know. um, and Yeah, man, if life's about quality over quantity. So just keep your quality of life going.
That's right. That's true. If you want to follow Jim, he is on Twitter at Jim Vaglica. That's Jimvaglica. Again, this has been Sergeant Jim Vaglica. Thank you again for coming on. Learning about your retirement goals was fun. It sounds like you still got a lot in store for us. So make sure to give Jim a follow. Thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Had a good time, man.
The Pondcast, conversations that go nowhere. Produced by Jeff Ponder. Executive produced by Jeff Ponder. Music by Loud C. Smith. Talent booking by Jeff Ponder. Engineering and mixing by Jeff Ponder. A special thanks goes out to Candles for keeping my office smelling lovely. Remember to rate and review the Pondcast, conversations that go nowhere, just because you're a good person. If you're a bad person, you can get some heaven points by rating and reviewing. It's a win-win. Follow the Pondcast on all social media channels with the profile handle at Pondcast Convos. Thanks for listening.